Good day everyone. In this video, I will show you how to connect a Microsoft Access database to Visual Studio using VB.NET. Connecting a database to your application is very useful skill for developers, especially when you want to store, manage, and retrieve information efficiently. I'll be demonstrating the process step by step, from creating the Access database, setting up the Visual Studio project, establishing the connection, and finally, displaying the data. First, let's create our database. Open Microsoft Access and choose Blank Database. I name this file employee database.accb and click Create. Let's rename the default table to Employee Table by switching to Design View. I'm renaming it so it clearly represents the kind of data it will store, which in this case is employee information. Now, I'll make the table with the following fields: ID, auto number, set as the primary key; name, short text; email, short text; mobile number, number, and salary with number. After entering the fields, I'll save the table and open it. Now, I'll add a few sample employer records so we have data to display later. Once done, I'll save the database again. I created this database because it will serve as the data source that our Visual Studio application will connect to. It's where all the employee data will be stored and retrieved from. Next, let's move on to Visual Studio. Open Visual Studio and click Create a New Project. Select Windows Forms App.Framework and click Next. Let's name the project MS Access Example and click Create. This step creates a Windows desktop application where we can design a form to view or manage our data. Now, we'll connect our Access database to Visual Studio. Go to the View menu, then choose Server Explorer. In Server Explorer, right-click Data Connection and select Add Connection. Next, browse and select our employee database.accdb file, then click Test Connection to make sure it works. If the test succeeds, that means Visual Studio can read and interact with our Access database. This connection is important because it allows our application to access the tables and data we created in Access. After successfully connecting, we can check whether all our fields ID, name, email, mobile number, and salary match exactly with what we created in Access. This verification step ensures our database structure is consistent, so our program can map the data correctly. Next, we can start designing our form. Go to View, then Toolbox, and drag the controls you need. For example, a data grid view to display data. I'll resize and expand the data grid view to fit the form. Then I'll click the small arrow on the top right corner of the grid and select Just Data Source. Now, we'll add our project's data source. Select Database, then Dataset, and click Next. Click Next again, and once our table fields appear, click Employee Table, and then click Finish. This process links our data grid view to the actual table from the Access database, allowing the form to automatically display data from it. Now, we can start or play the program by pressing Start or F5. If everything was done correctly, our data from Microsoft Access will appear in the data grid view on our Visual Studio form. This confirms that our application is successfully connected to the Access database, meaning it can now read data directly from it. To summarize, we created an Access database to store employees' data. We connected that database to our Visual Studio project. We verified the connection and linked the data to our form. And finally, we display the records using Data Grid View. My name is Alexa J. Santos from SBIT3Q, and thank you for watching.